My colleagues Gaurav Sawant and Pranay Upadhyay are joining us on the broadcast. Pranay, I quickly want to come to you first to understand what next now. What was the motive of the US to carry out these strikes? Will they continue to intervene? Will it be a free and fair election when it comes to a regime change now? How will the opposition in Venezuela play through all of this? What more are you picking up from your sources?
So, Isha, this is the direct playbook of the United States where the regime change is being played out in Venezuela because President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, has been extracted from the by the US forces from Venezuela. And in fact, all eyes will be on Maria Corina Machado, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, because she is the opposition leader. In fact, you will recall that, after winning the Nobel Peace Prize, she spoke to President Donald Trump. And after that, President Donald Trump had already indicated, after September 2025, when US launched this operation in Caribbean, that there will be eventually a regime change in Venezuela. We cannot tolerate this kind of government, and we will not let Nicolas Maduro run his empire. So this is all is being attributed to Nicolas Maduro, and there was a maximum pressure policy of the United States. The Southern Command, U.S. Gerald R. Ford, U.S. Aircraft carrier was there in the region. U.S. Marines have been deployed in the region. These were the indicators that U.S. is up to something big, and they have executed. President Donald Trump has announced it. So now we have to see that will there be an interim administration led by Maria Corina, or what role she will play in the politics of Venezuela, and what the new government of the Venezuela will do, because people are saying that, and experts are indicating that this is not about the drug cartel alone. This is all about the Venezuelan oil as well, because Venezuela has the world's largest frozen oil reserve. So the kind of politics being played in global arena right now, where the oil is the prime commodity, and for oil, the global politics is, there is a slugfest going for that.
Right. Before you actually reveal the larger picture, Pranay, I request you to stay on with us. We are trying to track further reactions that give us leads into this story. Let's listen in.
What should we do in order to stop that? He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. What should we do in order to stop that? He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. What should we do in order to stop that? He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States.
Mira eso.
We heard from Donald Trump, who in fact in a post on Truth Social had also revealed, and remember this is the latest that was officially confirmed by the US, that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife have been captured. They have been flown out of the country, is what the US has claimed. On the right of your screens are the pictures of the strikes that were captured by the US. This has happened in Caracas in Venezuela, as the US is now claiming, and they had been putting out hints, statements to that effect, that if Maduro does not fall in line, then the US will be forced to take action. Now, they have clearly meddled in the affairs of Venezuela, a regime change that is now expected in Venezuela after President Maduro has been ousted. And so far, Donald Trump confirming that they've been captured, they've been flown out. Let's get further confirmation from Pranay. Pranay, what are you picking up from your sources?
There is absolutely a chaotic situation in Caracas. I'm trying to reach out to our sources in Caracas as well, because right now there is a power outage in many areas. Multiple explosions and power outage has been reported from Caracas. And in fact, the military bases of of Venezuela were the prime target. Fort Tiuna was the biggest military base which was supporting the Caracas government of Nicolas Maduro was targeted. There were around say 7 to 8 explosions which are which were heard in the Caracas city, and after that now we know that President Nicolas Maduro. So this was clearly a surgical strike carried out by the United States, where the intention was to extract president and his wife out of Venezuela. And they have carried out this operation with such a precision that within few hours, before people could understand, before there could be a response by the Venezuelan government, there is a regime change. However, there is no official reaction from the Venezuela as yet, because the reaction which came just a while ago from the Venezuelan government clearly said that President Nicolas Maduro is still in charge, and he is discharging his duty, and we reject the military aggression of the United States. But now this is a big statement came from U.S. President Donald Trump himself, not only in his Truth Social post, but also through his statement. And he was right in a way, that because in the last few days, President Nicolas Maduro took a reconciliatory tone. He offered that he is ready. In fact, Venezuela is ready to engage with the United States to reconcile the issues and to address the issues of drug cartel and the drug trafficking. But if you see, not only in Venezuela, in last few hours, US has also carried out action in Puerto Rico, also on one of the island of the Puerto Rico, where the US forces have targeted the drug cartel and boats carrying the illicit drugs.
Oh yes, absolutely. And it is important to put into perspective a series of events that have led to this day, and especially the US carrying out these attacks. In fact, Maduro was indicted in an American court for alleged narco-terrorism in 2020. Thereafter, there have been constant warnings from the US as far as this particular aspect is concerned. In fact, even Venezuela, that had detained several Americans as tensions rose with the US. So the pressure really was building on that front, that it finally led to this.
Oh, absolutely right. Pressure was building up, and if you see, since the events, September 2025 onwards, because in September US deployed the US Marines there. The major military deployment was made in the Caribbean, and after that there has been strikes in the seas. There have been strike. Recently there was a strike on the Venezuelan mainland as well, carried out by the CIA through drones. And these were the messages being given out by the United States. And recently what we are picking up is that the US has advised all their US nationals, present on the Venezuelan soil to go in hiding. There could be a repercussion of the action carried out by the US forces. And now we have to see that, how US will be, installing a government, or will there be an installation of government, or there is always already an alternative arrangement which is there in Venezuela. So there are a lot of flux right now. But the larger question here, Suesha, is that where is the rule-based global order? If the biggest power of the planet is trying to go for regime change in this fashion, if the US is, which has always advocated a rule-based order, if they are going for regime change in this fashion, then the clear message is that either it's my way or highway. So this is a larger question, and many countries have already condemned this kind of action, and now we have to see many Latin American countries have called for an emergency UN meeting, a Security Council meet, to address this issue. But whether US will address those concerns, what will be their argument, we have to see. If the way US President was using a taboo word, while addressing towards his conversation or the gestures made by the Venezuelan president, this clearly shows that it was kind of a determined thing. It was predetermined and predestined to happen, the way US was moving their military assets in the region.